Hello everyone, welcome to yet another Dancast video. So I've been away for like a week and a half now, and that's because I've been very deathly sick. I was gone, but I'm feeling a lot better now. I still have some things going on about the sickness, but it's not that I can't record anymore. So welcome back everyone. So I noticed that you guys, the viewers, fairly enjoyed the versus videos that I did on the channel, and so I thought I'd take that idea and run with it even further and deeper than I did before, where I guess before I kind of just went over the base stats of the Pokemon in the video, and I just compared them to one another and gave my own very uneducated opinion, because I'm a very simple-minded Pokemon player. I'm not one of those highly intense competitive players. So anyways, welcome everyone to the first ever episode of Pokemon SmackDown, the show where we put two Pokemon against each other in all aspects. So before I introduce our two contestants, although you guys would know who they are based off the video thumbnail and title, I'm going to be going over the scoring sheet. So the first thing that we have on the scoring sheet is lore, which is out of 8 points, and this is the largest or heaviest category that we have. However, for the sake of this video, because of the contestants being Zacian and Zamazenta in their crowned forms, we are going to completely negate this because it is the exact same for the two of them, and there's no difference whatsoever as of the recording of this video. So it doesn't make sense to give them both a certain amount of points just to have it cancel out anyways. So yeah. Next, we have design, which is at 6 points. We have theme, which is at 3 points. The color scheme, which is at 2 points. And just overall look and aesthetics for 1 point. Following that, we have the Shinee design, which is at 5 points. And it's basically the same as the above, except color scheme is now the heaviest with 3 points. And overall looks is 2. And basically, the reason why I did that is because I just wanted... Shiny form is literally just a color variation, so I wanted that to matter enough in the sense that I wanted to, I guess, target just how a Pokemon shiny form serves the Pokemon's overall design. So that's why I did things the way I did. And then next, for 7 points, we have the base stat total / how they fight against one another specifically, as well as on occasion their overall usefulness and strength in battle. And I put this at 7 points because I felt that was a huge reason why we picked the Pokemon that we do. But that is not the biggest reason why. At least for me personally. Because I did want there to be an emphasis on the lore. But because, like I said at the beginning of the video, the lore is the exact same. This will be the heaviest category for today. And this will be the definite decider for who wins. So in the event of a tie where a tiebreaker is needed, we have in descending order. So we go in this order in the sense that if there is still a tie, we move on to the next thing. If there's no tie, the video ends. The winner is decided. We have overall usefulness / impactfulness. Now, this is within the Pokemon world and outside of it. So it's like things like the overall impactfulness on the show, the manga, the video games, all for 1 point. And the reason I put it for 1 point is because that's all you really need for a tiebreaker. And I also put IRL, which is its impactfulness on the community as well as anything going on around Pokemon in real life, right? And the reason I put this specifically for 1 point, I was going to put it for more originally, but I decided ultimately to stick to 1 point, is because Pokemon like Charizard and Pikachu and Rayquaza and Mewtwo have a highly unfair advantage simply because of how popular they are. So I wanted to give a fighting chance here for all Pokemon. So yeah, the next tiebreaker, I should say, is the origin of the Pokemon, which is the origin of the name and overall design of the Pokemon. So where does it come from? Where does it draw its inspiration from? That's all for 1 point. And if it's still tie, we go straight to a fan vote. And if the fan vote, which usually would be the deciding factor, is for whatever reason split exactly 50-50 down the middle, And I'm going to be super nitpicky about that, because even though it's a 50-50%, if one has like 3 more votes than the other, I will consider that the one with the 3 additional votes the winner. So, but if for whatever reason it's an exact 50-50, then we will have a draw. And that is the only way we can have a draw. So in today's video, we'll be putting the 2 box art legendaries from Gen 8 against each other, Zacian and Zamazenta, in their crown forms. Let's begin. So lore-wise, as I said before, I'm not going to spend too much time on it now. They're identical as of the recording of this video, so we won't be using any of that to critique or to judge in this category. Next, we have the design. So thematically speaking, I think that Zacian undoubtedly wins here, because I think that crowned Zamazenta is far too bulky in its appearance. Like, I can see what Game Freak was trying to achieve with the whole sword and shield, in that Zacian just looks so cool with the sword in its mouth and how it uses that in battle. But I think that the shield main for Zamazenta is just far too bulky for what Game Freak was trying to achieve. I think that it was entirely doable to do the shield main without having it become as bulky as it is. So I think that the execution was poor, but I could see the attempt on what they was trying to go for. So for this, I give Zamazenta 1 point and Zacian 2 points in this area. In terms of color scheme, I think that Zamazenta gets the upper hand here, simply because I personally think that Zacian's color scheme feels washed out. I really don't like how they went with a washed out red on a washed out blue, but I do still enjoy the color schemes of both Pokemon. So I'll be giving Zacian 1 point in this area and Zamazenta 2 points in this area. Aesthetically speaking, this is something that I'm still debating. So it's a little on the subjective side right now, but I think that it was appropriate because it's a little subjective for me to make it worth 1 point. So initially, I favor Zacian's design very much so, because like I said before, it was sleek, it was highly effective in what it was doing, and Zamazenta was just far too bulky. But this changed for me once I saw that the models in game. I noticed that Zamazenta's design was considerably slimmer than I originally anticipated, but I still think it was a little too bulky for my taste. But in game, I found that Zacian's wings kind of looked a little funny at times, as in they were kind of distracting from its overall design for me at times, having played through both games, by the way. And Zamazenta just didn't look as bulky as I thought, but still was incredibly bulky. And so here I'm going to have to give, because one was better than I thought and one was worse than I thought, I'm going to actually give them both a point here. Mainly because Zacian, I still like it over Zamazenta, even though it's not by as much as I thought. I still want to give Zacian points for the fact that that I still like its design more. But I also want to give props to Zamazenta's design, because I didn't think it was as bad as it was originally. So, yeah. Moving on. Shiny wise, I really struggled in this area, because I thought that both shinies, or at least the shinies for both Pokemon, are absolutely fantastic. I was always a fan of how well Purple has worked on Pokemon like Kyogre, like Swampert, like Blastoise. Purple really works for me for shinies, and I still feel that way about Zamazenta with the purple/pink color scheme. But the baby blue on Zacian is just too good to pass up. I think that both shinies were super well done in the way that the color change didn't become overpowering in any way, that the accent colors just didn't matter anymore. Like, they were still multicolored designs in the sense that it wasn't like it became all black or all white or all this color and all that color. It still kept a lot of the accent colors, and it actually works very well in combination with one another, with the blue and the pink or purple. It just really works in all aspects. So here I'm going to give Zacian a full 5 points and Zamazenta a very, very, very close 4.5 points. So yeah. Now we've come to the part of the video where things can get really hard, because I'm not a competitive expert. I don't battle competitively. I think of Pokemon in a very, very simple-minded fashion, like which Pokemon outstats the other, which one outtypes the other. And so for this one, I did a little bit of research because I wanted to put a little bit of effort into it. So from my research, and as well as from talking to other competitive players, I don't think that either Pokemon is bad in battle at all. Zacian is a Pokemon that is capable of destroying everything in its path, and Zamazenta is just a complete tank. But I do think that one is better than the other, because I am one of the more, again, as I said, simple-minded Pokemon players. I can't really go into much detail as to why I think one is the winner over the other. There's a lot of other videos out there on YouTube that do a much better job than I can hope to explain. But I can say that by looking at the move pools and the base stat total and the stat distribution, I can say that Zacian is better by a bit, by a slight margin at the very least, at least in a one-on-one style. While both Pokemon can learn close combat, Zacian will naturally use this move a lot better, simply because it's faster and its stat distribution allows it to hit a lot harder because it's so offensively focused. Where Zamazenta struggles here is that, yes, it does tank a lot better than Zacian. I don't think it can tank the difference in damage, given that Zacian is actually faster than Zamazenta, which makes sense because one's a sword, one's a shield, one's bulkier than the other. And one is much, one's meant for offense, one's meant for defense. And I think that the defensive difference between the two is not enough to make up for the fact that Zacian will almost always, in a one just tempo-based game, where it's just back and forth, like, because Pokemon is turn-based, Zacian will usually, if it doesn't die, or if, assuming Zacian is the stronger Pokemon, it will always have an additional attack because it gets to go first. It gets to make the first move with close combat, which is 2 times effective against Steel. Now, they're both crown forms are Steel type, yes, and one of them is Fighting type, which does give it stab. I just think that Zamazenta doesn't have the offensive stats that Zacian has, and so therefore, because Zacian gets to go first and hits hard, I think that it'll get in 2, maybe 3 attacks, while Zamazenta can only get 2 attacks in. And by then the winner would have been decided, being Zacian, because it simply just moves faster. So for this, though, I'm going to give Zamazenta still 5 points, mainly because it's still a really good Pokemon in battle. It's still really good at tanking, but I take off 2 points because it's just not as good in a one-on-one situation, which is what we're considering here. So I'm going to give Zamazenta 5 points, a fair 5 points, I think, but it just doesn't stack up to the full 7 points that I'm giving Zacian, because I think that Zacian is straight up just the better Pokemon in a 1v1. So this brings our totals, if I've done the math correctly here, which I'm going to really quickly make sure I have done. So the stat, or rather the point total, and the winner of the Pokemon, or, well, I wouldn't say it's the winner. Actually, it kind of is, whatever. Basically, the score is 13.5 points for Zacian, 13.5 points for Zamazenta, and 15 points for Zacian, which makes the winner of this Pokemon SmackDown, the winner of the first ever Pokemon SmackDown, is Zacian. Congratulations, Zacian is officially 1-0. Zamazenta came in at a very, very close 13.5 to Zacian's 15 points, but ultimately, I think that what swung it here was the fact that Zacian, and this actually did swing it, because up until this point, Zamazenta was actually leading, but up until the point where we kind of went into which Pokemon was better in battle, Zacian was at 8 points and Zamazenta was at 8.5. But because Zamazenta is not nearly as good against Zacian in a one-on-one, Zacian narrowly squeaks out the victory here, because the gap difference there was 2 points. But like the gap difference in who got more points from the one-on-one 1v1 category was 2 point. What am I saying? The gap difference for the 1v1 category was 2 points, and the difference in the total scoring was 1.5 points. So that swung it just enough for Zacian to squeak it out and to very narrowly get the victory, because if it didn't get the 2 point difference that it did, it would have lost. So anyways, thank you guys so much for watching this video. I really hope you enjoyed the first ever episode of Pokemon SmackDown, is what I'm planning to call it. I don't know, I might change the name later, unless you guys find something that is much better than what I've come up with. But yeah, thank you guys so much for watching. If you guys have any feedback on I guess just the overall format of the video, in terms of the scoring, in terms of how I did things, that'd be really awesome. I'd very much appreciate that. And yeah, I hope you guys had a very wonderful new year. I hope you guys' semester for school has been off to a great start, or at least a much better one than mine. But yeah, thank you guys so much for watching this video. I'll see you guys all in the next video, which hopefully won't be as long, because I don't have to go over the scoreboard as much. So yeah, anyways, I'll see you guys later. Peace.